Ever since the Bush administration, I have noticed this rather strange phenomenon with the left. The left has this weird tendency to call their opposition a dictator, an authoritarian, Hitler. And then in that same breath, they will demand that said authoritarian dictator take away everyone's rights, including their own. I really don't understand this. It confuses me every time I see it. And I have seen it since the Bush administration. So I know it's not a recent Trump-based phenomenon. It's gotten worse since Trump, a whole lot worse. But I have seen it before. Now, this isn't the normal hypocrisy kind of thing that I expect from the left. The Joe Biden thing is a perfect example of that. Trump, Kavanaugh, they get rape accusers. Believe all women. Women never lie. They're automatically guilty because a woman accused them. Suddenly, a woman accuses Biden. That lying bitch, she can't be trusted. She's obviously a Russian asset. The exact same people. I'm not even joking. I have seen their timelines. I have seen their tweets that say both of these. Believe all women and then fuck that bitch. I'm used to the hypocrisy from the left. That's a thing that I get. I'm not used to this weird thing where they demand the people they think are dictators take away their rights. That confuses me. I'm, in many ways, whenever I see this, reminded of Rome, actually. Julius Caesar wasn't a dictator because he just took over by force. To do a small backstory thing for those that aren't aware of how the Roman Senate worked, they actually did have a position. I believe it was called dictator, or it's where we get the word dictator from. Which was a position where in times of emergency, a sole person would be put in charge that would have complete and total command rather than the actual two heads that were elected. And that was only supposed to be for 6 months, which they could extend if the emergency continued. And then the person who was the dictator would then just give power back to the citizenry and to the elected officials. Well, Caesar, he didn't demand anything. He didn't do anything. The people wanted him to continue to be a dictator for life. They begged him to stay, so he did. That's how he became the emperor of Rome, and that's how Rome became an empire. If I may steal a quote here, this is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause. Every time I see the left do this, I'm reminded of that. They accuse someone of being a dictator, and then in that same breath, please take away my rights, like a dictator. What? Now, I'm not saying that the right is innocent in this either. They do some really weird stuff with their opposition as well. The 8 years of obstructionism with Obama. They didn't demand that their rights be taken away, though. They were fairly consistent in their arguments that Obama was taking away their rights, and they were trying to defend that. Whether you agree with that or not, that's your opinion. My point is that they never demanded that liberties, rights, be taken away from them by the person they absolutely hated. This is something that's predominantly only seen on the left. And I just genuinely don't get it. I actually need this explained to me because it doesn't make sense to me. I have tried for the longest time to figure this out, to figure out why it's the same thing that they do with the police. They say that the police are all racists, that they are all murderers, that they are all the worst people on the planet. Yet they're the only ones that we can trust with guns. Something is not right here. I don't think that this would be a victim complex thing because they aren't trying. Well, in a sense, they're trying to make themselves out to be the victims of the tyrannical Trump. But then why would you then demand that Trump take away your shit? That's not what a victim would do. So I can't for the life of me figure out why this happens so often and what it's for. In many ways, this is a parody that I would say of the left, or people would accuse the left of, except that it's real. I'm just baffled by it. I really need someone to help explain this to me. I've tried for years to figure this out, and it's been getting worse since Trump took over. So, if and when, very likely when at this point, Trump wins re-election, I am going to need to understand this because it's going to get way worse at that point. I think that the left will just lose it completely, and we're going to see this explode like tenfold. That's if we make it to the election now, because this COVID thing. Oh, goodbye, search rankings. Haha. This COVID thing has just made people absolutely lose their minds, and I think that we might. I doubt it. I really doubt it, but I think we might see another Julius Caesar style thing where people are actually saying postpone the election because COVID. To the point where you do that, you will get another Julius Caesar. You will get a dictator with thunderous applause. That's how these things happen. Little increments over time take complete control. I would like to believe that that's just my own paranoia and distaste of the government talking, but I also know history, which is kind of a scary thing. If you want to help explain this phenomenon to me or just make some jokes about it, feel free to leave some comments. I do read those. This has been Math Machine, just trying to understand the oppress me harder, daddy, that the left has become. And even just saying that put a bad taste in my mouth. Peace out.